Hey everybody, it's Weaver again, and today I wanted to talk about the peer pressure that exists in the trans community. Now a lot of people think that there's just, peer pressure everywhere, and that's totally true, especially in society when you're an adult. But for those who are either new to transitioning or who are going to be transitioning soon, I think you kind of really do need to hear about this. Mostly so that you can either learn to avoid it or you can learn to cope with it. Now, first and foremost, I wanted to talk about why this happens, and that's because a lot of the people who hold to this regimen like really rigidly are the people who pass very, very well. They're easily accepted into society because they hold to these rules so rigidly. You have to do X amount of surgeries, and you have to get X surgery first, and Y surgery next, and then Z surgery later, and it's insane. And so when someone comes into the community, they look at all these very attractive people who are very successful in society, by society's standards, I should say, and that's who they want to emulate. I know that's who I wanted to emulate. I wanted to blend in. I just wanted to be normal. I just wanted to be able to walk down the street without people shouting random things at me. And, it's taken me a year, but I realized that that's not necessarily what I want. I don't want to blend in. I want to be happy. And I know a lot of people say that they'll be happy when they blend in. That's not for me, though. And I don't mean to berate the genderqueer community, but that's kind of how this is going to come off. And I'm really sorry. I am genderqueer, so I know how this sounds. The genderqueer community on pretty much every website that I'm on is full of trans people who don't fit this perfect mold of what trans should be, and so they have nowhere else to go. So they kind of default to the genderqueer community. It's very, very difficult for me to see this, not because I feel like it's diluting the genderqueer community. By all means, you guys are more than welcome. But the thing is that it's just like, I don't believe that that should be something that's happening in the trans community. I don't think that that's fair. And the easiest way to really avoid this is to go into the transition knowing full well that you're going to experience this peer pressure, and knowing that you're going to see it, and knowing that there are going to be days when you are so convinced that if you just look right, if you just get this surgery, if you just wear this makeup, if you just do this the right way, that you'll finally be happy. And that's not the case. Trust me on this one, that's not the case. You really need to just, and I've said this so many times that it's probably getting a little cliche at this point, don't transition for someone else. Transition for yourself. Live for yourself. If you're questioning what you're doing, maybe it's time to take a breather and take a step back and go, is this really for me? And I'm not saying, don't transition. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, every step of the way, you really need to question whether or not that's a step you need to take. Because a lot of these steps aren't reversible. So with each new step, you really have to stop and think, is this really what I want? Or am I getting this because I want to be someone else? And if your answer is that you want to be someone else, maybe you shouldn't do it. And I know that a lot of people are probably watching this, and I remember when I first started, I would probably watch this and go, but if they're happy, I want to be like them so that I can be happy. It doesn't work that way. And you're just, the best way to be happy is to be yourself. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. Just be yourself and be happy, and just live your life the way that you want to live it. And if someone tells you that you're not trans enough, tell them to go fuck themselves. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's true. Tell them that they have no business in your life. If your parents or your friends or whoever tell you that you need to do X amount of things to be trans, tell them no. There's only one thing that I have to do to be trans, and that's be myself. That's it. Being trans isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a very unique thing. But living for someone else and transitioning for someone else is a bad thing. It's very unhealthy. And in this, I really do want everybody who's watching this who is very passable and who has had surgeries, I really want you guys to be the role models in this, because you guys are in that position where a lot of people, when they come into this community and when they're coming into the transition, they're looking up to you. And you guys kind of have to be, again, cliche as hell, you guys kind of have to be that change. Because if it doesn't start with us, it's never going to start. We can't pass this on to the next generation of trans people. It's not fair. You know, and this is something that we can stop. And I suggest that we do. So, like I said, just be aware that there is peer pressure. Be aware that there's a lot of societal pressure as well. And it sucks. It really does. It's tough. But that's what the community is there for. And if you guys ever need anything, if you guys are ever feeling down and you need to talk, you guys can send me a message or you can leave me a comment. I do read all of my private messages. I read all of my comments. I don't get that many. So, you know. But I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to be trying to post videos at least mostly regularly. I don't know. I'm going to try. I really am. Pinky swear. But things are getting a little bit busy right now. Not too busy, but a little bit. So hopefully that doesn't, you know, peak. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.